so, again, I'm sorry, I don't have one name. And Mr. Malakat can do your presentation. That way they can get on the road.
Okay, thanks very much for doing that. I visited the job site today and reviewed the construction progress. And I think you have in your packet here the progress billing from street, plumbing, heating, electric, number 2. And the items that they list, it's on the back about the percentage of construction, and it all looks complete. And all of the units have come in, and they're in the process of installing all the classroom units as we speak. There's 3 of them that's about 95% installed, and the rest of them will be installed in the next week or so.
So all the air conditioning units should be in the classrooms by when?
Probably, if not the end of this week, the first of next week.
So they should have air conditioning in the classrooms before school starts.
You should.
That's good.
There's one running right now.
That's good.
Over in the,
That's very
right
good.
by the hallway.
That's good. That's better than expected. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, exactly. And then there is a change order from street that you should have in your packet labeled potential change order. It's taking the $64,500 of the EPM portion of the work out of there. So it reflects down here in the addition. The original contract was $929,370 minus the $64,500 is $864,370. And then you have an invoice from EPM that was a service work order, service scope of work. It didn't get taken out in the first pay request from street because I knew there was some miscommunication and things in the background that needed to get ironed out. So this minus 64.5 and then the additional 17,000 and some change is the result of that things in the background that got worked out. So, any questions about those items?
I think they might want to ask a couple questions of Mr. Kratz.
Okay, all right.
Well, we had a special board meeting a week ago Friday. I was not able to attend, so some of this may have been discussed at that point. But Fred, my question to you is, we rebid this project because of what we decided to forego at this time with EPM, and there was an addition to the contract that we accepted. Why was this not worked out ahead of time before the work started?
Okay, because the board had made a decision to remove the EPM system entirely.
No, we did not.
No?
No, we
Well, go ahead.
opted to leave.
Yeah.
Well, you did later, because we opened the bids and we said, how much is the EPM system? And then we said, that's too much money, so we'll take it out. And then my understanding, when you say take it out, is to take it out.
To remove the wiring and,
Well, when you take out a system, the electric code says you remove everything that's not used. And then I wrote a letter to the fire marshal and asked them if we could leave the parts that wouldn't harm anything if we left them, in case you wanted to put the EPM system back at a later date. And so that's when we went back and said, all right, now, EPM, we're not going to remove the entire thing, so that was 64.5. We're going to keep parts of it so that you can put it back or use it down the road if you decide to put it in. And we said we were going to continue to control the water heaters and monitor the new freezer. And then I mentioned that we would control the outside lights, but they were never actually controlled by the EPM system. So there's only 2 things they're doing right now. And the way EPM's system is, they have trade secrets in part of their system, and they can't leave those unless you're using part of it. So they've taken out now the things that were in the way of the HVAC installation and windows and have removed that part of it, and then left the things that could be used later, and they've taken some devices back to Fulton to get recertified also if you decide to use them again.
Well, I thought that's kind of what I had just said, but the question is, we're dealing with this tonight, why were we not dealing with this back when we went back out? Because it seems to me that we've got contractors who took on responsibility that perhaps they should not have. And it's why we are now dealing with this now.
Well, what are you dealing with now, except you're taking the money out it came out, it's gonna come out, and then you're paying EPM just a small portion of what, so I don't understand what the problem is.
Well, my question is, why are we even having to do this? Why was this not part of the project or in the discussions at the beginning of this before the project got underway? It's like it's an afterthought from sitting here, what I can see of this. I understand the credit that Street has submitted. I understand the bill that EPM has submitted, the invoice, and certainly monetarily from the district's vantage point, it's a benefit. But yet, why wasn't all this worked out ahead of time? I guess that's my question.
I'm not sure what you mean by ahead of time, because we bid
Why is Street
HVAC.
returning $64,500 that he said he needed to do the job?
Did you not follow what I explained in the situation, how it went? That we
Yes.
bid the project, Windows, HVAC, and an EPM system. Okay,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
All right. Then it was my understanding, and maybe I'm the one that's got communication problems, but it's my understanding that the board said, take out the EPM system, we're not going to pay that much.
We said we didn't want to utilize the EPM system for the new HVAC.
Okay,
We wanted to leave what needed to be left for the freezer, for the hot water heater, for those other things that were not connected to the HVAC system. And that would cost us $64,500 to do that part. On the second time that we did it.
And the contract that we signed.
Right.
well, it didn't get communicated to EPM that they weren't to remove
That's
all
my
of their
question.
system.
Why?
Well, I guess I messed up and didn't communicate it all to them. But it is now, so you're getting your money back, so I don't see an issue, actually.
Well, it's been a hell of an issue for this board for the last week and a half to deal with this. We are not the experts in construction, these types of things. I thought that's what we employed people for, was to take care of these things.
And it's taken care of. Maybe not in the time frame you wanted, but it's taken care of. What else would you like to do?
I'm good.
I have one question, if I could.
Yes,
Board
please.
Secretary. I just want to ask Mr. Malcourt, do you consider yourself the project manager representing USD 298 in this project?
I'm not the project manager.
Well, if
I'm
you
the
are not, who
engineer.
is? Who is?
Well, I'm the engineer that oversaw designing the project and putting it out for bid.
But have you not taken on responsibility as the project manager for the school board?
Well, my title isn't project
Well,
manager. I'm
that's not the
district-
title that you're giving. I'm telling what you do. I'm defining what you do or what you're expected to do by the board.
Well, did you read my contract with the school?
I'm going to get a copy of it and read it.
Okay, all right. Well, it doesn't say,
Does it use the word project manager? Is that what
no,
you're
it
saying?
does not.
Well, there are other things that define a project manager besides those two words.
Okay,
I'll wait until Dr. Somers gives me a copy of it, and then we'll talk more if we need to.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
So I think, one other question I had was just, so now, I don't understand why, since it's already all done, why we now need to have a separate contract?
This
with
isn't the
Streets and
contract.
EPM as far as breaking the two out into separate,
The street one gives you your money back
yes.
to
I
pay
understand that.
EPM for their service.
Yes.
It's not really a contract, it was a description of work.
But EPM submitted this for us to sign.
Right, but it's just a description of work, if you agree to them doing that service. Just like over at the high school, you didn't sign anything to fix the unit when it was replaced over at the high school. We didn't even know about it until EPM happened to be on the job and the unit was getting replaced. So there is a board and wires and things connected to that unit control, and it had to be removed and then reinstalled in the new unit. So that wasn't even written down. But it's a service that they perform.
Other questions?
Did you have any questions for the EPM men that are here that are connected to this? That Bill does show you, they specify what the different things were that they did, but we can explain that. And try, third, that's at the high school, that new rooftop unit that came
Okay,
in.
that's
Just by
that's
them, because they were here, they could attach that into the EPM system that is working at the high
I
school.
see it says the same.
I do have a question, and I've known both of these gentlemen since we first put those systems in, at the high school and the grade school. And always thought, respected the work that you've done, and certainly have not had any questions about that. So I guess I would ask you, were you contacted by street about the removal or the adjustment, any type of work prior to?
Is he talking to us?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes, yes. Uh, So I guess my question is, at what point were you brought into the project? And again, I was not at the last meeting, so maybe some of this had been discussed.
At what point was I what?
Were you brought into the project or notified that, because you showed up the following Monday, following our board meeting, and took care of the work that needed to be done?
We got a call from Mike Street's company, and I don't know, I'm Ben Trout, I'm the owner of EPM. We got a call from Mike Street's board company wanting us to execute a subcontract on, I think it was, I've got copies of it here, that he provided. It was about a week after Mike Street's company started work on the project. And the contract was a page-and-a-half contract. And the first thing was it tied us to the contract between Mike Street and the district, but did not provide a copy of it. It also tied us to the completion of his project and the schedule of completion, which he did not provide it as an exhibit to the contract. The last thing it didn't, not the last thing, but another key thing that it didn't provide, he had penalty clauses in there based upon our schedule, or his schedule of completion, again, which was not provided in the contract. As you did, we forwarded our attorney, and our attorney told us not to do the job. Simply don't do the job, there are too many flaws in the contract that are undefined. And the last problem with the contract is there were copyright infringements in the contract on the AI agreement. We have over 1,000 copyrights and we have patents. Patents are based upon trade secrets and also on copyrights. We've had to enforce our copyrights several times. The last time we enforced a copyright, the customer had, the federal judge make the customer take out 142 systems at a cost of $10 million to the customer, because the customer participated in the copyright infringement. So we're very careful on copyright infringement, so we didn't do it. Then we learned that it wasn't a $64,000 contract. They didn't need to take the whole system out. Evidently, the state of Kansas doesn't follow the National Electric Code, which they're not required to do. They have their own rules. And the fire marshal of the state of Kansas told the engineer and also told the superintendent, in my understanding, that they didn't have to remove the system. And if they didn't have to remove the system, it wouldn't cost $64,500. We did not have a contract. Street had already removed a portion of the system and used the conduit that was in our system, pulled our wires out, and used our conduit to run his wires. So we didn't know where the project was at, and we didn't know what he had removed, we didn't know what he had done, and we didn't know what he wanted to remove. The only thing we knew was school starts in about a week. And they told us to come on out and get out here and do it.